Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is AunTeaFee back to my facts. And listen, it is early this morning. It is around 6:25 a.m. And excuse me, I'm getting some notifications of breaking news that the feds are dropping some of Diddy's charges. And so it's breaking news, everybody gonna be excited and everybody gonna be thinking that Diddy is getting away. Tea sippers, please don't fall for it. Okay? So there was a whole slew. I think he had some charges that as they are now going into meetings. It's the day they are supposed to be. No jury is off today, but the prosecutor, attorneys, the prosecution would be there and the defense would be there with the judge, and they were going over the charges that what was presented, right? Because it was supposed to be a longer, so I think they cut off about a week or two, right? And so in some of the witnesses that was supposed to come, or remember the state, the feds, dropped a few people that they were going to have on the stand. So part of what they were going to bring, or what they was going to utilize them for, I'm trying to wake up, y'all. Oh, excuse me. I am so sorry, but that's just how early this is for me. So now what they're doing is going in and minimizing what they're charging him with, because some of the co-conspirators are now witnesses. So I think it's like some of those attempted, they had a whole slew of stuff that just wasn't presented. It wasn't presented. And then also that's part of the defense strategy, right? With him not calling any witnesses. So this is normal. We saw this in other cases as well, when they go in and pull out part of the charges that they didn't present in their case. So that's cool. We finna listen, so I'll be able to break it down real quick. I heard about attempted kidnapping. Yeah, they didn't put much emphasis on that during that trial. Only thing I could think about with kidnapping, they was trying to say when she was trying to leave and he wouldn't let her, and when Capricorn was taken to Uncle Polly, and that he had her for like 5 days or what have you. But the thing with that is that he took her back. She came back. She went home and he took her back there. So she was able to go home. She just couldn't work. So it's stuff like that. But let's listen. Let's listen so I can break it down. Let's go. I'm going to set this down. And let's listen.
Recap.
Shout out to City Nash.
His decision not to testify. Text of Diddy asking Jane, "Can I walk in on you?" while she's sleeping with another man. Shaquille O'Neal name being mentioned. And other tidbits. Let's dive in. Boy, I was going to but since these videos wasn't doing 50, 60,000.
So we didn't hear that about no Shaquille O'Neal.
JC was back on the stand today, and the defense came locked and loaded with receipts, text messages.
And I will be going live around.
Let's talk about the steamy December 2021 text between Jane and Sly.
11.
Jane texts Sly she missed their hotel night, asked him to fly out, Christmas or not. When he said he was busy, she practically pitched it as a 24-hour layover. Santa wasn't the only one sliding in. But wait, didn't Jane testify she only sent flirty texts when Diddy told her to?
So don't be alarmed.
Messages from April 2022. Combs said he had crazy fantasies about her and Leo. Jane replied she hadn't had Diddy all to herself in 5 months. Diddy said, whatever you want. Next, Leo enters the chat. Then, we know no proof the paperwork was signed, and you can see the Lozelle sign. Remember September 2023. Breaking news.
Okay.
Should be about 2 minutes. Jump 24 minutes, and I'll give you a doper recap and my thoughts on all of it. Let's.
NSFH1 rated LPS Detex food lube sugar dissolving fluid.
Let this be a lesson.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Prosecutors have dropped attempted kidnapping, attempted arson, and aiding in sex trafficking charges in the Diddy case. They're now pushing for a clearer jury instruction on the main sex trafficking and forced labor counts, calling them complex.
Okay.
So here you go right here. It says, basically, dear Judge, reminding the government respectfully writes regarding its requested edits to the court's proposed jury instructions. The government understands the court's desire for streamlined instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions.
So they're streamlining it so that y'all won't be confused. The people won't be confused. The jury won't be confused. Because they want it to be cut and dry. So they attempted stuff. See, to me, the attempted, and that would be for the his co-conspirators more so than him, because he's the ringleader. So yeah, okay, let's go.
The government has removed instructions from the charge relating to 1. Attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law. 2. Attempted arson under California law. And 3. Aiding and abetting sex trafficking. The government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary.
Okay.
The government.
Okay, so they're removing things that's tied to California, because California gonna have their own. I told y'all, California gonna have their own, and in Florida gonna have their own. So those charges was tied to New York and California. Yeah.
Has also attempted to simplify the language relating to count.
I told y'all, T-Sippers, that he got 2 more coming. I told y'all it was 3.
Purposes of streamlining the instructions, but also will avoid any confusion as to the operative agreement for count 1, sex trafficking and forced labor instructions. While the government has taken seriously the court's desire for brevity, the government still strongly believes that certain limited additional instructions on sex trafficking and forced labor instructions, which are regularly given in sex trafficking and forced labor trials in this circuit, are necessary for the jury to adequately understand the law on these charges. Each of these instructions reflect established case law and are directly relevant to key issue.
Okay, so T-Sippers, if y'all have noticed, those charges that he's talking about, I never even bring those up when I go through my my summary of what. I've never talked about kidnapping or attempted kidnapping, because there are so many more other charges that he have that supersedes those for me, that were way more clear cut to me. So I'm not alarmed by that.
In the case, moreover, without such instructions, the government has serious concerns that the jury may misunderstand the applicable law for both charges, which are extremely complex legal concepts about which jurors may have preconceived, mistaken notions. U.S. versus Sean P. Diddy Combs trial, day 29. Homeland Security agent JC to finish his cross and possible redirect today. So here we go. Sean Diddy Combs currently seated wearing an orange sweater. Quite a departure from his usual neutral toned blue, gray, or beige sweaters. Sorry, I don't know what just happened there. The jury has yet to enter. Combs' lawyer pushed to admit Cassie's text as evidence. The judge has blocked some and allowed others. Like I mentioned, saying be your little freak in baby oil texts, suggesting they may link together to alleged freak-offs. Restroom break. They're back. Garrett goes, please pull up exhibit
I don't want to listen to all of that.
During their hotel encounters.
We heard that.
Jane and X, are you voices related to till the assistants cleared out, even when Christina Corum went to exhibit 1-1.
Okay.
This Cone faces 5 criminal counts. 1 count of I don't understand. Hey, bro. Well, we sitting here looking at it. Dude should be in jail for this crap. Again in April and in May 2025. Notably, the notes do not indicate that Mr. Combs ever said, where I'm from, people go missing. And Mr. Hayes stated that he began to develop romantic feelings for Miss Ventura. Concerning Capricorn Clark, the interview notes from the first 11 of her 13 sessions with law enforcement and federal prosecutors make no mention of any phone call made near Miss Cuddy's car in Los Angeles. In Mia's early interviews, there's no mention of Mr. Combs initiated sex with her. As for Bangalan, her initial statement did not include that Mr. Combs said, I could kill you during a photo shoot. Also, it was exhibit 3288 that was submitted, not 3228. We may have additional items with that. The defense rests. AUSA, the government does not intend to present a rebuttal case. Judge, jurors, you will not need to report tomorrow. Please return on Thursday. All rise. Jurors exit the courtroom. The judge, have both parties discussed Thursday's logistics? Call me. We propose going until 5 p.m. on both Thursday and Friday. Agnifilo, that's acceptable. Judge, when will I receive the finalized jury instructions? Shapiro, may we have a moment? Judge, certainly. Coming. I'd like to officially withdraw a non...
I'd like to officially...
Return until tomorrow.
In the fast-paced world of manufacturing, you need more than just bodies to fill roles. You need a...
So... There's so many things to get to. So many freaking things. I be wishing I write notes, but a lot of this stuff, bro, it really be off the dome. And we all really believe that this dude is a freak? Yes. Do we all believe that this dude should be in jail for this crap?
Okay, so finally we get there. I had to pause, y'all. I'm still sleepy. Okay, so it said it was 5 charges. 2 of them got dropped. Attempted kidnapping and attempted arson. Is that what I'm hearing?
Cone faces 5 criminal counts. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
That's 5.
So, all the drug stuff, that's supposed to be a part of the RICO. They're not...
No, because it was, I thought it was 8 at one point.
Racketeering part.
Yeah, okay, so attempted kidnapping. They didn't... So...
I'm just amazed.
So it's still... Hold on. So he's been...
Conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
So all of that's still there.
So, all the drug stuff... That's supposed to be a part of the RICO. They're not proving that. Well, the racketeering part.
Yeah, okay, so that I'm not alarmed, y'all. So that attempted kidnapping stuff, that was not brought up in the case. That's not where they put their emphasis on. So they just removed it while they're going in and streamlining, and they're getting the jury instructions. So they're taking out certain things that wasn't put emphasis on, or because some of the witnesses pulled out. Gina never came. So some of what they're pulling out was based on the witnesses that refused to come. Okay? So what they are now only leaving in is what was relevant to what they presented, period. And then they had to take out, they have to drop certain things out based on the people who didn't come. Okay? So it's still solid based off of what they presented. That's why I didn't go all over the world mentioning stuff that wasn't necessary. This is why I stick to what's important based on what was presented. Okay, T-Sippers, stay with me. Stay solid. This is why I do not allow all of that different propaganda. And when people bring in stuff that they get from other platforms, this is why I am so strict about what is presented. Let me take that out of my ear here. Hold that. This is why I'm so strict about what comes over on my platform. Because I don't want you to be confused and get caught up in the propaganda sauce. That's why they come over and they drop stuff, to confuse. No. So I didn't never talk about no kidnapping or attempted kidnapping. Because what's important is already hard to get people to change their mindset based on the law. So I'm only gonna listen to so much. I'm still sleepy, y'all. I was up at 1, on that live.
I'm just.
Yeah, let me hear what she was talking about. Hold on.
Down and shut the door. This is an emergency, and this is not clickbait. The Fed of effect, and what this means going forward. You guys, again, this is not a drill, and this isn't just a little.
This is normal.
Thing.
This is normal.
These are some of the biggest charges they have dropped. The violent charges, the ones that showed how deep and dark this whole case really was, and they just vanished. You guys, this is an emergency. Diddy's team will help us believe that we believe that the case is falling apart. And the government, and by the government dropping charges against Diddy left and right.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of that, because please don't come bringing me none of this extra stuff. They did not present as much as the feds went in on something that kept repeating the same that they was done over and over. Kidnapping was not one of them. So please don't fall for that. We have not heard concrete evidence about kidnapping. So if that's what all of this excitement is about, I'm not moved by it. They should have pulled it out. Anything that they did not present, they got to pull it out. So this is normal. Just like it was normal for him to ask for the judge to acquit it. That's normal. These are just normal procedures. What they did not present, they got to pull out. Gina was supposed to be number 3. She did not appear. So the charges that he was hit with, okay, were based off of everybody who was supposed to be a witness. The very minute they did not show up, they got to pull it out. They cannot charge him for it if the witnesses did not come and get on the stand. Follow me? So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. They got to pull it out. You cannot charge him with that.
Again, this is not a drill. We need to talk about what it means. Okay, so let's start from the top. Attempted kidnapping, gone. Attempted arson, gone. Aiding and abetting sex trafficking, gone. Now, you guys, you know I keep it real with you.
Aiding and abetting, okay.
But I want to drop this video first. Now,
hold on. Yeah, they didn't present nothing with Diddy about aiding and abetting. I don't know why they removed the. See, all of this to me is attempted. Yeah, no. Let's go.
All the way down into despair. I'm gonna break this down for you, okay? Because while this looks like the government is folding, it might be something else. Now, what they dropped are state-level charges. The same state-level charges that Diddy's team had argued against. Charges that were based on California and New York laws. That's important because this is a federal trial. And keeping it federal might actually be the strongest and best legal strategy that the feds think they have to keep Diddy hidden away and squirreled away in jail for a long time. Okay. Again, like I said, you guys, this is big. It's huge. And honestly, a lot of people weren't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. The prosecution, let's call a spade a spade.
Why were we not ready for it when they said that they was going to meet and go through the charges that will be presented to the jury? They said that that's what they're going to do. Right? Didn't they? They said that they were going to go through when so that the judge could write out what was going to be presented to the jury with the jury instructions. This is a part of it. What wasn't presented, they have to pull that out. This is normal. Let's go.
That has victims stunned, and legal analysis are asking what is going on. Again, multiple charges against Sean Diddy.
Why is legal
dropped, not dismissed by the court, not ruled on by a jury, but dropped by the government itself, voluntarily, in the middle of the case? This isn't gossip.
It's not the middle of the case. Stop. It's not the middle of the case. It's the end of the case based on what was presented. Right? It's not the middle of the case. It's the end of the case. And so now they're going to go through and based on what was presented, the defense and the prosecution are both decided that wasn't presented. Take that out. Yeah, we've seen that. I saw this with the ADOLPH case. They did it. They did it in court. We saw it. They kind of removed. They dropped the charges for attempted because we've seen this before. If you've been with me, T-Sippers, they did the same thing in the ADOLPH case. Let's go.
I'll go on live later to talk about. And I'm already asking the same questions you are. Does this mean the case is collapsing? Is Diddy about to walk? I know you're seeing the panic, and you have every right to feel it. But don't worry, because I got you. Because while this move looks shocking on the surface, my sources are saying, and legal sources, not my neighbor, even though I do talk to my neighbor, my neighbor, it may actually be more strategic than you think. And there's more going on here than what's being tweeted. Okay? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly which charges were dropped, why the government have made this decision, what this means for the remaining charges, and whether Diddy could still face serious consequences. Because yes, the possibility of conviction is still much on the table, and it actually even is a possibility that they did this because they think that New York State and California State are going to pick up those charges. You guys, if you care about justice, if you care about survivors, if you care about this case not being swept under the rug, stay with me. Because what just happened in the courtroom could shape the outcome, will shape the outcome of this entire trial. Let's get into this. Okay, let's get into exactly what was dropped and why that decision is way more complicated than it looks. As of June 24th, the federal prosecutors confirmed that they are no longer pursuing the following charges against Diddy: attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. Those were serious, violent allegations. These weren't PR crimes he was being accused of. These are the charges that pointed to violence. Prosecutors confirmed that they are no longer pursuing the following charges against Diddy: attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. Those were
aiding and abetting
violent allegations. These weren't PR crimes he was being accused of. These are the charges that pointed to violence, manipulation, and calculated harm. And now they're off the table, completely removed from the jury consideration. Now, why did the government drop these? Here's what you need to understand.
Yeah.
And this is where the government's playbook starts to show. 1, the charges were based on state law, not federal. That means that they would have introduced different legal definitions, different jury instructions, and standards from California and New York, all inside a federal courtroom.
Okay, so they dropped they're dropping those charges so that they won't confuse the jurors. Basically, yeah, because I never put any emphasis on nothing that they said to me stuck out for aiding and abetting. No, that would have been more of KK. And attempted kidnapping. No, that's not what they presented in their case on a daily basis. And if I can be honest, listening to Tisa just about every day, none of her emphasis were put on any of those charges that was presented in the case, and she was there. So I'm not alarmed at all.
I see. The feds decided that was too risky. It gives the defense room to confuse the jury or call a mistrial.
Right.
2, the defense just filed a Rule 29 motion, which basically says, Judge, there's not enough evidence to even let the jury decide this. So the prosecutors took the hint.
And absolutely, hold on, I agree with that. It wasn't enough evidence presented. And that may be because of some of the missing witnesses. So I agree with the defense. It was not. They didn't present that. Let's go.
At the court and embarrass publicly or confuse the jury enough to let Diddy walk because nobody understood what was going on. They dropped the weak link themselves.
Absolutely.
They cut off the arm to save the whole body.
Okay, I get that.
It's a legal retreat for sure, but one that protects the rest of the case from collapsing under crossfire. And 3, they may be repackaging those same facts, the threats, the control, and the abuse under federal RICO and forced labor statutes.
Okay.
While the labels are maybe gone, the conduct may still be used to prove a bigger pattern. That is key. Because if they can show this was all part of a criminal enterprise, the RICO enterprise charges sticks. And with RICO, they only need 2 predicate acts to lock in decades of prison time.
So they just trimmed the fat. They just trimmed off that, and you know how you trim your meat and you throw away that extra stuff. It ain't necessary. That's all that's happening. He's still gonna be convicted. Do I have to listen to any more? Can I go back to sleep? I'll be back. I'll be live later. Diddy, you should have just stopped. You should have changed your little can't stop, won't stop. You should have stopped. But if they set you free, if they don't put you in jail, you're going to do it again because you're going to think you won. So you got to go. The mere fact that you're trying to seduce the judge because he let you wear another brighter color, you know, he let you do what you wanted to do for the most part, you know. So yeah, you going to prison, baby. And I'm not alarmed, tea sippers. What they removed, they probably should have removed. And you get too many options, and folks still don't understand the process. They don't even understand RICO. But you see, RICO they didn't drop RICO, did they? No. Attempted, no. Whatever he did, he did. It wasn't no attempt. Yeah, it wasn't an attempt. What he did, he did.